somewhere in the neither world of Canada, and Big Mike is floating within the Ethernet somewhere. So don't worry. Don't worry, we'll get them back. We'll get them back and all that stuff. Thanks for watching. We're actually streaming not only on Facebook and on Twitch, but we're also streaming on my YouTube. That's right, my YouTube page, Montequilla Vision, just to see how this is going and how people are feeling with this, and just experimenting and stuff. It's a fun talk show. It's a fun chat. We used to do this every night on IG Live, and then IG Live got wonky, and then we started trying it out here on Haps. Big Mike, we are live, Big Mike. You were disappeared in the Ethernet, and now you're back here. We can see your eyeballs, and we are live for all and sundry in the world today.
Hello.
I'm back.
Did you hear my harangue?
For a second there, I could actually see you guys, but your Mo is blonde, correct? Is wearing a denim jacket.
Right.
Yeah. Technically, I am
for a second
blonde.
there. My third eye, my inner eye, caught you, but now it's all faded. The crystal ball of blood.
It didn't like what it saw, so it decided to move.
No,
on.
it was jealous. It was jealous. Siri was jealous of my attentions to other women.
Poor Big Mike.
Falls in love with the Alexa, or the Siri falls in love with it.
Yeah. By the way, Mo, poor Big Mike. Big Mike's a huge womanizer, and he can't see you. So what a dilemma. What a dilemma.
Oh.
Your beautiful looks and all that. I'm kidding.
It has to make you fall in love with me just on my personality. That's not going to work.
No, your voice, just like Joaquin Phoenix, he fell in love with the soothing, attentive,
I will try
voice of Siri or Alexa.
Big Mike, they made him making love to your ears.
They made him female, I guess, auditory avatars.
Yeah.
Instead of making, this is Joe. What could Joe?
What do you use? What do you use? I have an Irish woman.
Oh, as your Alexa, as the voice of your Alexa?
I think my Siri on my iPad, because I have an Android, but on my iPad I have an Irish female.
Yeah.
Well, they said, there was an episode in the original Star Trek where they went to have the Enterprise reworked in a planet of all females, and they gave it a female voice, and they kept on calling Captain Kirk darling.
I remember that episode. Yeah.
And there were those stories that they said that a higher pitched voice, like the voice of a woman, is easier to discern during a time of crisis. When people are yelling, a higher pitched voice, a woman's voice, is easier to perceive.
Speaking of a woman's voice, being a chanteuse to people out there, we already have dial in from Masala. What's up, buddy? Saying, "Hey, hun, how you doing? Hey, Movita." So there you go, Mo. You're exciting our male and a heart too. So Mo, people love the Mo. You know what I'm saying? And who would
Mo loves them back.
Right. So what's interesting about Mo is Mo actually introduced us to this platform Haps. I know Mike is not really. Mike is still adjusting to Haps because he's I guess he's a boomer. And I'm a boomer
still
too.
Adjusting to emails. I'm still having a hard time with Facebook.
Yeah,
I haven't yet been able to figure out how to post on Facebook yet.
Yeah, Big Mike's the type of guy that he types in all caps. So when he messages you on email, it's like "Hello!" exclamation points till the infinity.
At least I don't need my glasses to see it, Mike. So there's the positive.
Right.
I just had I was anthologized in a poetry volume, and I sent in the sample for them to reprint, and it's all in caps, and they printed it all in caps. The book as my poetry all in caps, just I actually read it.
Font. It's called the Big Mike font. You have your own font.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's my own font.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So Mo introduced us to this platform. It's a very interesting platform. So this platform is mostly used by broadcasters, journalists to sort of do live streams and communicate and stuff. And they have a reward system. We're still learning about it. And Mo, can you tell us a brief how how'd you find it, and how is this new, and would this Yeah, maybe like in a short way, like tell us about it in a little bit and like tell us how this like affects you and is it positive for you? Like, do you like it or?
I do. So actually, I came to this. It's kind of a dual thing. So as you know, I had a show on IG Live called 7 Minutes in Quarantine with Movita, and I was having so many issues. And also, you know, you can really only do one guest at a time, and that's fine because the show was set up to do 7 minute interviews, so it worked. But it was so glitchy, and at the same time a comic and a producer that I had worked with, and you probably know, Aaron Haber, got brought into HAPS, or as I like to call it, the HAPS sphere. And so HAPS is in beta. However, it is so nice because it is created for this. Like Instagram, Facebook was not created for what we're doing now. This is.
By the way,
and I
Big
just
Mike,
love
are you
the
jerking off, Big
functionality.
Mike? Your head's jumping up and down. Are you masturbating? What's going on there?
Not yet, not yet. I'll get there. All right.
Keep talking, Mo. No.
Exactly. Yeah, TED Talk porn.
Boy, it's like a phone sex.
Yeah,
Literally.
Right?
TED Talk
Just no
porn.
opinions.
Tell me more. My pants are off.
What are those coins all about? I haven't figured it out yet. It's like
Right. So it's really, this is what I love about it, is that it is a community as well. And there is comedy on HAPS. So, you know, we have an actual comedy community, but you're right. There are journalists, there are folks on here from all over the world. It's really cool. And, you know, people will follow you. They'll come in. They'll watch a show like this. The other thing you can do is you can link your other things like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and things like that. So it's also nice because you can stream across various platforms, but you don't have to put content out on every single platform separately.
Right.
And then, it's cool because you get coins. So you can get them for participating. You can get them for coming on every day, etc. You also have folks who come on and can give you awards. You can get tips. So, you know, it is, it's set up more like a studio.
what can you buy with those coins? Like porn or something like that?
Yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, you can give awards with them, and I'll leave that to your imagination.
You know the funny thing is, you know what? Like this is what I want to talk about, like sort of the new like era of like, you know, the shifting of like media.
I
and
just
stuff.
want to say really quickly, if I had a forehead fetish, Mike, I would be rubbing one out pretty fiercely right now.
Right. Like I said, Big Mike, that forehead, it's like from the glasses up, you're Ben Franklin with those books. So maybe it's worse for you, you know?
Pseudo-intellectual as always.
Exactly. Hello. Please drop your panties as I recite some
Yes, talk about the quadratic equations. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just that forehead.
All about interrupting. This is a royal rumble of
Is this any less? Does my forehead disappear when I do this, or nothing?
You're good. Huh? We see you now. Yeah.
Wow, way to give us whole face right now.
Yeah. I'm thinking Big Mike is putting his dick on. I mean, his phone on top of his dick.
Yes, actually, it works. It works as a kickstand and a cell phone holder.
A tripod. Yeah, you use your natural tripod, my boy. Use your. By the way, where's Bob Bell?
my meat tripod?
Yeah. By the way, where's Bob Bell? We started out with Bob Bell. Bob Bell had a phone call from the Illuminati, and now he's like disappeared.
I think Bob Bell drank too much coffee, and nature's broom has taken hold.
Yeah, Bob Bell is just now a speculative abstract piece as a human being now. It's just like a cup of coffee and like and
this is COVID.
Exactly. Some office lighting at home to make you like crazy, and then I think like it looks like a fan is like playing on the background, like a fan on top of that.
Oh, good call out! Look at that. Eye for detail.
So mysterious. Come again? You broke up. Mo, you broke up. Can you come?
Yeah, I said that's a really good call out. You have a nice eye for detail.
Well, you know, I am a content creator, which is now the new way of saying artist in 2021.
Artiste.
Yeah. I make non-fungible tokens. That's what I do. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Is that what
So,
NFT stands for?
yeah, non-fungible. By the way, do you know what fungible means, Big Mike? Because I know you're a very smart guy.
Oh,
Big Mike
here's
went
sorry,
to.
fungible in like applied biomedical, meaning like in human sciences. A fungible is it means it contracts and expands when you touch it. It's something that's fungible, like a
Mhm.
tumor.
Right.
Like in
Right.
medicine,
Not
it's
a
a tumor.
tumor.
Yeah.
A tumor, a cancerous growth is called fungible.
Yeah.
Or a
So,
uterus. A uterus is called fungible if you can feel it. Like after a woman gives birth, you can feel a fungible uterus through her pelvis.
right.
And she's
Wow,
getting better,
that's
recovering.
sexy.
I
Right.
worked in OBGYN for like 2 straight years, so I know
Yeah.
about
How'd you
fungible
like to feel my fungibles?
Yeah. He worked with
fungible
Bill.
uterus.
Big
Yes,
Mike worked with Bill Cosby as an OBGYN on the Cosby
yes,
Show. That's what he,
yes.
he was a nurse for Big Mike. Did you check out the China's and
Looking back on his choice of profession for that show, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna teach the kids, but still gotta check the pussy. You know what I'm
There
saying?
was when I was in the same fraternity that Bob Bell was in back at Columbia. There was a guy there who was like this really slick woman. I mean, he was really good at what he did, but he used to hang out at the local high school, which is I think it was Christ the King High School in on Morningside Heights, and he had a 15-year-old girlfriend. He wasn't old; he was like 20 maybe. And he had a 15-year-old girlfriend, and that was the story. He became a pediatric gynecologist
Oh
when
my god!
he finally went to medical school
Good
at
grief.
Wait, how old was he,
was
David?
it a pediatric gynecologist up at Southern Methodist University, SMU in Dallas.
They
Wait, how
have
old?
pediatric gynecologists?
Supposedly that's what I heard. Now, hey, that's what I heard.
I think you mean pedophile.
Yeah. Real talk with
I
Todd.
mean, like, when you're 20, you're dating a 15-year-old when you're 20 years old. You're like 5 years older than they are. You know, what kind of thing. She was like a high school, like
I mean, chronologically, yes.
Yeah, she was a freshman or a sophomore in high school, and he was a freshman or sophomore in college. You know, Columbia College.
Well, also too, when you're 20 years old, that's kind of weird to like date a 15-year-old because it's like that's already it's a big growth gap. You know what I'm saying? Like usually if you're 20, you want to date like around your age, like 18 and up, or like, or maybe like, you don't want to be like, hey,
You want to date sluts.
Yeah. You don't want to be
sluts.
Yeah. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that scumbag guy who's just like, yeah, I'm going to go and date my junior high school girlfriend who's 13, but I'm going to be the man. Everyone's going to look at me like, whoa, he's so cool at 20 and hanging out at a junior high. Yeah. I mean, when you're that kid, there was like a girl like in my junior high, right? And she dated I had a crush on her, but she dated like this dude who was like obviously in high school, because she was like, what, 13? She was basically in school. I hate to say it, she was basically a school slut, because she wore like short stuff, all that, very provocative. She dated like this dude, this Spanish dude who's like, 20, like a high school guy who's like 19, 20, and everyone was just like, all right, it almost seemed like this is, I mean, I guess she call
it inappropriate.
But here's the funny thing.
There was another guy in the fraternity. He was, I guess, at the time maybe 18 or 19, and his girlfriend used to come over. She's one of those really big gals. Like she was like not exactly 6 feet, but she was like 5'10" or something like that. And she was big boned, if you get my drift, And he was much shorter than her by, a good 6 inches. And like,
I don't get your drift. Can you explain it, Big Mike?
Huh?
I don't get your drift. Can you explain your drift?
A big gal, one of these big bone gals. Like I think. And it was so funny. Funny. Maybe that's not the term. They had a big celebration for her birthday, and I was inquiring what her age was. It was 13.
Oh, what?
She was a teenager, but she had been coming over and staying overnight at the fraternity since she was 12, and they used to I guess he would date her when he was in high school. She must have been 10 or 11. You know,
Big Mike,
when he was like,
Big Mike,
Does she have big boobs?
Big Mike, QAnon's going to pick up on this and to talk about how like Columbia was like a the Pizzagate started.
what was it? Strange enough, you're talking about the 1970s. It was a different time, you know, kind of thing. And for example, Van Morrison at the time had this song. I forget what it's called, but the end of it is, and she's only 14. Like it was like this guy who was dating a 14-year-old girl, and he had to go back years later and change the lyrics to like she's 18. You know, like, but the original lyric was, and she's only 14, and they had to change it because times change, mores change, that kind of thing.
Yeah, isn't Van Morrison like sort of like he's a COVID denier or something? I know there's like a song that came out.
Yeah, I mean, he gets into a lot of freaky stuff. Like again, it's part and parcel of the time when he was coming of age, like which was like the mid to like late '60s. So the point is, they believed everything evil about the government. Like there were secret bombings.
Wrong.
But they were right. But there were secret bombings in Vietnam, and there was talk about like the original pill, like the birth control pill was poison that they were giving out to the women to sterilize, and there was all this kind of conspiracy theory. But most people outgrew it when they hit about, let's say, 30, and they started raising their own kids. Like even if you were a rock and roll star, you kind of like you adopted the mores and the norms of a 30 or 35-year-old dad. But he's some people didn't do this. Some people are still mired in those times.
I mean, we're finding out though, like the LSD stuff. I don't know if you saw. I think it's the documentary is Orange Sunshine. I want to say, but how
they were indeed. It was operating out of Columbia University. They were actually going down to the Bowery, picking up Bowery bums and bringing them back to like flea bag hotels and giving them acid. Like would they give them money and like food and liquor, and then spike their liquor with LSD?
Yeah, but the government they were finding. I mean, the people who felt like it was helpful had to contend with the government, and then I think they were out here in Colorado actually, and then the government shut it down, and it's kind of like. It's coming back now as actually could really help people with PTSD.
Right. It was the CIA. They were going to see if they could use LSD as a truth serum, and they operated. It was like at the time it was like so early that LSD was not an illegal drug at the time. It wasn't like an opiate or marijuana. Right. It was a chemical. It was like 65 or 64, and they were like dosing like winos in the street with it to see if they could use it as a potential enhanced interrogation chemical device to get like information.
Oh, see, I heard the flip side of it. I heard the flip side of like private people and chemists finding that it was helpful, and there, this propaganda against LSD, right? Always showing like the guy naked running down the street, jumping through a window, whatever, jumping off a building.
Roof.
This is LSD. Whereas really they were finding that it was quite helpful for certain.
To this day they use it in hospice. People who like only like weeks to live. They give it to them, kind of like ease them.
Funny story about that. When my dad was dying, he had like a week to live, and they gave him morphine. He had cancer. And my mom did not administer any of the morphine. And the nurse came and she was like, is he okay? Like, is he in pain? Why aren't you guys giving him morphine? And my mom was like, oh, I don't want him to get addicted.
Right, exactly, right.
We're like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we fucking do. Let the man just, ease on out.
Yeah. That's probably the best time to use drugs. It's like when you have like a week.
Yeah, that's my retirement plan, Todd.
Do crack, right? Do crack. Why not? Let's just go out with a bang.
I don't have kids. Listen, if you say to me, and I don't care because people are going to think this is morbid, I don't have children. Mm-hmm. My extended family does not live in this country. If you say, Monica, you have the choice of spending 10 years in diapers, being cared for by other people, or you could go for the ride of your life on heroin. Which do you choose? I'd be like, oh, perfect. I've done what I've wanted to do. Let's chase the dragon.
Well, I always say, it's my new say, that longevity is highly overrated. Longevity in general is highly overrated.
I agree. I mean, we'll see.
Remember, if you talk about living to ripe old age, like 90, remember 30 years of your life is going to be spent as a senior citizen. I mean, if you live to be 100, that's 40 years.
How we live, right? Like my mom is 81, and thank God, knock on wood, she's healthy and she travels and she's still working, so she's living a good life. So I'm not talking about that, but yeah, I'm like, yeah, I would like to choose my own ending.
Well, there was a one of those fad diets for a while. I think it was called like the low super low calorie diet. And it was low everything. People were living on like 500 calories a day or 800 calories a day, and they became like super skinny. Like, it was kind of like being a Hindu guru, like living on a bowl of rice a day and like 4 ounces of salmon. And the point is, they were touting it as a way to live to be 138, and they were questioning people. Well, would you want to live to be 138? And no, of course not. I don't want to live to be 138. I mean, that's spending you spend like 70 years as a senior citizen. You're like 80 years as a senior citizen.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I mean, like, things are constantly changing. It seems like we've now kind of encountered a space where, we're living more virtually than like literally in the real world. I mean, like,
I know, but I don't like young people. You think I want 30 more years of dealing with younger people than me?
Well, but hear me out.
Exactly. I said, like,
hear me out. But what if it becomes a point where it's like you can upload your consciousness into like a younger body, and then kind of
they already worked on that. It's called a Y. Think of what a Y is. That is, ultimately, it's not you, because whatever that being is, an android. Let's call it an android. The android would share your life experience up to the crotch of the Y. Think of it that way. Right. And at a certain point, you would go to the right, and you would have your own experiences, and your experiences may be only about 10 or 20 or 30 years. And suppose you've uploaded your consciousness onto the left side, and this android who lived to be 2000. But the point, at a certain point, that android is living its own life and has its own experiences. And your experiences will only be a very small part of that android's being.
But here's the thing.
But it won't be you. That android won't be, at a certain point, won't be you after, let's say you download 50 or 60 years into the android. But Big Mike, at a certain point, that android's life is longer than your life.
Hold on. Let's play devil's advocate, though. But, like, aren't we always changing, though? Like, me 20 years ago is different from me now. So isn't that
but you have a consciousness in that change. You're part of that change. You created it, or you just let things happen. But that change is integral to what your existence is.
But that's the theory of reincarnation.
That android will be that android's history, not yours at all. It won't belong to you. Whatever that android does after a certain point will not be your.
So, Big Mike, you're saying you definitively believe in the soul. It sounds like you believe in the soul or something like that.
It's not a soul. It's like, imagine like 2 video cameras. Mm-hmm. They're recording the same thing at a certain point, but then one video camera goes to Alaska and the other one goes down to Cancun. Mm-hmm. The Cancun video camera and the camera goes to Alaska will have very different experiences. Mm-hmm. Not change. Understand that? Very different existences. I'm not saying that's a soul. It's just like a videotape that plays, but your videotape at a certain point has nothing to do with that other videotape.
Are humans going to become obsolete then?
What?
Are humans going to become obsolete?
I hope so.
We're going to die. First off, we're going to die. We're all going. I think Stephen Hawking's had it down pretty. When he was asked about an afterlife, they asked Stephen Hawking, and he said, when a computer gets old and it loses its function, it becomes garbage. You throw it away because it's not any use anymore. Mm-hmm. He said the human brain is like a computer. At a certain point, you trash it. It doesn't have an afterlife.
Big Mike, if a human's like a computer, then if you take a consciousness and you upload it in another like container,
but that's the point. That at a certain point, though, that computer isn't you anymore. It's a small part of that computer's life is you. But the rest of it is the computers.
Well, you can
Understand
refurbish an old
that
computer.
computer has its own existence.
Yeah, but I'm saying you could refurbish an old computer. What if you're just refurbishing, a person like a
But isn't the computer like, but wouldn't it be AI? Wouldn't it basically, like, this is what I don't understand is that AI has to learn from us, but then at some point it flips and it's beyond us. And
it already flipped. Like, with algorithms like telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hilarious. By the way, I think Big Mike hit something and now he got deleted by the
it's great to have a big dick that you can put your phone on, but the control is not always the best.
Right.
That's been my experience with my large penis.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's a very, very large penis, I'm sure. Well,
it's, I mean, I don't want to brag, but it doesn't get fully wet.
Wait, what? I don't know how penises work with that. That makes, I think I've been using.
You think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
If you can't get it fully wet. Think about how big that is.
Oh boy. We got to get banned off Twitch or Mimo or whatever. But but
it's not like you just met me, Todd.
we know about you. Yeah. Hey, so what do you? These are interesting topics. I feel like it's the pandemic. It's a time of reflection. It's been like a year. It's almost like biblical, where it's like when you read like the Bible in the Old Testament, and like the Israelites are lost in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. I feel like we're like lost in like digital, like for a year.
I feel like we needed this reset. Am I the only one? Because I feel like as people, we needed a reset. We needed to kind of calm down, stop being so busy, go back to our families, like go back to our relationships. I feel like there's been some positives.
Right. Hey, Big Mike's back. Mike, while you were gone,
back, but like just like the shitty Android that I keep getting thrown off of.
Big Mike, we've moved on.
The computer that is your brain, the human computer that is your human brain.
Friend or foe, who knows?
So Big Mike, we were talking about how like it's kind of interesting with this this pandemic, how like it seems like it's been a time of reflection. And she was saying how like she felt like we needed this. Do you feel like we needed this sort of like?
Ultimately, no. It's like some people look at like in certain cultures, a year in the pen is seen as a way of toughening it up, and just like the year in the pen, I'd rather not have it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No, but I'm saying like I feel like we were rushing. I feel like we were so our faces were constantly in our phones, and I feel like a lot of families kind of went back, started having dinner at the dinner table, spending time with one another. People reassessed kind of what's important. They realized that there were relationships that they maybe weren't nurturing because it was just rush. I don't know. I think there were some positives.
The divorce rate skyrocketed because you felt handcuffed. Like kind of like.
But you know what? That's good. That's good because listen to me. You shouldn't be married to somebody who you can't be with. I've worked with people like that. They're workaholics, and the reason they're workaholics is because their families don't want them at home. I don't think people like that should be married. Why be married though? Like I understand what you're saying that of course, that at the surface is a negative that divorce rates skyrocketed, but I think that's very telling.
Right. Yeah. Hey, by the way, guys, I just want to call Bob Bell to see what's up. Let's try to call Bob Bell.
Yeah, is he okay? I watch a lot of forensic files. I'm concerned.
And all I saw was his.
He's back.
There's Bob Bell. Okay.
It's
Bob
like you summoned him. That was a really long.
You hear us, Bob?
Exactly. What is going on in Montreal?
Hey, Bob, can you hear us? Bob, can you hear us, Bob? Bob, can you hear us? Yeah.
Is he plugged in?
You know what? Bob, can you hear us? Bob, can you can we
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Can you hear us, Bob?
Hi, Bob.
Let me call Bob. I don't think he can hear us. Let me call him and
He
let me
does
call.
look confused.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
do you know
Sometimes
much
when I
about Jack Kerouac outside of on the road? He
Mhm.
had a book called Desolation Angel, where he was stuck in this forestry ranger station for like 6 months
Yeah.
over winter.
Hey,
Oh,
Bob,
Bob's
can you hear us?
back.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I can hear you. Well, I can hear you on the phone, but do I have to
yeah,
reconnect?
yeah, Bob. Yeah, let's try to reconnect because like we've been doing the show for like 20 minutes, so we
Okay.
want to get you back. I'll take you out and then bring you back in. All right. Okay. All right. There you go. Bob Bell's coming back in.
Oh,
You know.
great.
I'm glad he's alive. I was
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah.
I've heard things about Montreal.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think Bob Bell was.
Jack Kerouac got basically stranded in a ranger station up in Desolation Mountain in Washington State, and he got stuck there for 6 months and basically did nothing. And it was like he took 6 months out of his life. You know what I'm saying?
Bob, can you hear us, Bob?
Did he? Was it good? Wait, did he write a book?
No, he didn't. He basically just took 6 months out so he could get some money and then go and reinsert himself into society and start writing again. He did it purely like take 6 months out of his life just to get enough money so he could live for the rest of a year without having to worry about having to go to work every day. But he lost 6 months out of his life. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying is I don't think that's a loss. I really don't.
And I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be patronizing, but just when you get to be my age, a year is like, that's like 10 years because, like, you lose a year, you all of a sudden, like, you're really old when you come back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. I guess the way I look at it is, you know, you do have a choice though, because you have a choice of saying I'm losing a year, I'm not going to do anything because there are a bunch of things I wanted to do that I can't do. So for example, I wanted to travel and I wanted to go to this concert and these shows or do comedy, whatever it is. So social things that got shut down. But I do think there are people who said, okay, well, let's shift gears. I won't make it a loss. There are people who.
Well, I managed to get some stories written about being isolated during COVID-19 or things I did during the COVID-19 epidemic shutdown. But still, I mean, a year and it's like, I could have done a lot more than write about a quarantine.
Big Mike, I think you're also you're an extrovert, Big Mike. You're a performer who you've done like shows. I bet you doing shows like reading poetry naked, and you're a free spirit.
Right.
This kind of affects you even more because like you're such an extroverted personality, and it's like you're kind of been stuck in like a
in
cyberspace,
right? In my world.
Yes, Wi-Fi land. It's like I did learn things like I did learn about Zoom and. I did that Instagram show you were doing, the before, what the hell was it called? Your Instagram show.
Comedy Show Live. Yeah,
Quarantine Live. Comedy Show Live. And there's things like that. And doing this Haps TV. But you know what? I'd much rather be live.
Right. Bob, can you hear us? Speaking of live, Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go. Bob Bell is
talking about live.
Bob, what happened? You disappeared. You became an NFT. You became a non-fungible token, an art piece.
Non-fungible. Come on, I'm fungible.
Yes. We were talking about the imminent Dr. Michael Haldeman earlier.
Oh, what about Mike Haldeman? What Michael?
Just his predilections for like dating high school girls.
Oh yeah, right. You always kept track.
Oh boy.
What was
Big Mike?
But he was in high school though. He was in high school though. I mean, you have to give him that. I think at that point. But, maybe not. I don't know. Did he do that afterwards?
College. Is that the guy you're talking about who was in college dating the 15-year-old?
Yeah, let's not bring him.
He was dating some girl at Christ the King Parish School on 122nd Street. I think that was.
Well, as somebody who went to Catholic school, that doesn't surprise me.
I didn't even know that. I mean, I know he, I remember some of his girls, but I always remember them from college. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just talking about Joe LeMay's girlfriend who was like 12 or something like that.
Now that.
It's just... Hey, Big Mike, can we not name names? Big Mike, what's going on here? You know? Big Mike's gonna, Big Mike's gonna.
Mike, you're, the Habs community is not happy with this.
Exactly. I wonder if Big Mike gets disappeared every 15 minutes. I think it's part of the Habs community algorithm to make sure Big Mike doesn't.
Right.
I remember. There was, in some sense, I wouldn't be surprised because that was, obviously people do it now, but back then, it was just like people would just like brag about stuff.
You're right. I was saying that it was like the times were different. People, it was like considered a big deal to walk around like a 13-year-old or 14-year-old girl. Jimmy Page had that girlfriend. He was like in his 20s or 30s. He had a 13-year-old girlfriend, Missy something or other. Her name was. She was a famous group.
I want to read a comment from Tamara. Tamara says, "I agree. We need a reset." Tamara, very brilliant. Was one of our guests in our show. Very brilliant. Tara Rita and also Rick on tour. I think she believes I think she what do you call that? Like she made a fortune for Bob Bell. Like she fortune told Bob Bell's.
Right. I remember that. Right. Well, we got to listen to her. Definitely. Right. Because she knows it. All right. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. It's not,
But
let's go.
Mike, what are you doing?
I just like that she agreed with me.
I'm trying to I have it at arm's length. I don't have one of those selfie sticks. So my arms are getting tired.
Lower, Clarice. Lower, Clarice. Lower. Well, no, tilt it towards you, though. You're tilting it towards the ceiling.
Yeah.
There you go. A little bit up.
No, we don't want to see anything.
Tilt it up a little bit. Tilt it up.
Yeah.
What? Tilt it up.
Yeah.
A little more.
So you can see his mouth now.
Up more, because I don't want to. Yeah.
Just a tad. There you go.
Perfect.
It's impossible to hold this with my arm for more than about 5 minutes. So.
Well, like I said,
I don't have a selfie stick. I'm not one of those people who walk down the street like it's like a parasol. They walk down the street with like their iPhone stuck in front of like a parasol.
You shouldn't make fun of Asians.
We're all gonna get canceled. Now we're all canceled. Bob, what's going on with you, Bob? How are you doing? You were gone for like 20 minutes. Was there like an intergalactic meeting in the
nothing intergalactic. No, just I got a phone call. That's all it was. Nothing. Nothing. I thought I was hoping that maybe at a certain point I could do some live performance, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Oh, is Canada still shut down? I thought
well, it would have been it wouldn't have been in Canada, it would have been in New York. But,
what are you doing in Canada?
What am I doing in Canada? Leaving the United States of America. That's what I'm doing in Canada. At least for the time being. But I might be coming back at a certain point. So.
Joseph Biden was asking about you. He asked you when you're coming back. Joe Biden.
Yeah, I know. Right, and then I could share Assange's cell in Colorado. That's like when Assange comes back, or basically takes him. It's like, Bob.
Come on back. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on. All you got to do is just like live up to just live up to all the things that you did, and then basically we'll be more than welcome to accuse you of things and put you away for 150 years. No, absolutely.
Oh, by the way, so this is a funny story. So Big Mike shared a story about how Rudy Giuliani's daughter, what's her name again? I forgot. Is it like
Catherine?
Catherine, right? So apparently she wrote an article, I think for Vanity Fair or something, where she talked about like being into threesomes ever since the pandemic, and really? Kind of getting into that. Yeah, and she's kind of getting into like really deeply into it, and it's like it's cool. Hey man, I'm glad about that. If Catherine Giuliani, if you want to hit me up, go ahead. I'm single. I'm not into threesomes, but we could figure something out.
Oh,
it's funny you talk about.
I from that article, I heard a new term that I'd never heard before. It's a cuck queen.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Apparently, that's her girlfriend Isabella gets off on watching her man bang Catherine. It is like that's a turn on for her to sit there and watch her man, cheat on her in front of her, like fucking some other girl in front of her.
It's not really cheating if you're all in agreement.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
Right.
I'd never heard. I was
way,
always cuck associated with men, like
It's
Jerry
Caroline
Falwell
Giuliani,
Jr. is a
By the way-
cuck guy, but
By
I've
the way,
never heard cuck queen.
I love
Something
how we
different I've
get
never
to be
heard.
queens when we do that.
By the way, it's Caroline Giuliani. I was right, not
Right.
Yes.
Was Isabel, her friend, is a cuck queen.
Caroline, you get to watch.
But come
I
on,
saw-
isn't that,
I watched.
That was
I
Jerry
watched
Falwell
Rudy
Jr.
the other
was
night.
into watching the pool boy. No, the stable boy threw his wife in front of him.
wait, Bob Bell's got to say
Okay.
something. No?
Yeah, I had nothing to do tonight, as many of us don't. And I saw James Woods did Giuliani and Rudy.
Oh yeah.
I actually, he was just, oh man. I mean, it's like it has all of his like over the top qualities, but at the same time, it's like I got to do it for the city. I got to do it for the city. It's just watching it say, really. But Woods is like, isn't Woods like a real like, he's like.
He's a
like
Trumpist.
like
He's a
politics.
MAGA supporter. He's a big MAGA type, like John Voight.
MAGA. John Voight.
Anybody with money is pretty much.
Yeah, right.
They
Just
all
give me
turn
less-
that way
less taxes.
when they get money. Orson Bean, Charles Grodin, they all become these like Dennis
That's
Miller. They all
when you-
become these right wing guys in their
Well, because
old
the more
age.
money
David
you have, the more paranoid you become. There are like
It's a
psychological
good point.
studies.
It's a really good
They
point.
think that
There
somebody's
are
coming to take their
psychological
money.
studies. Yes. And by the way, what those people consider being poor again or poor in general is about like middle class.
Yeah.
Like they fear they call it poverty, but it's what we call the middle class.
Yeah. I didn't
Right,
think
actually,
they,
it was upper
they're
middle
that
class
close.
even. Yeah.
Bob, what were you saying, Bob?
No, I think they're pretty safe from being like upper middle class. Believe me, you have, but some of the people we're talking about, I think, have.
It is
probably
really fascinating, though. It's like this mental, emotional prison that they enter because of their wealth, and I've seen it firsthand. I've read studies on it, and it's really incredible. So I don't
Listen,
want to be that wealthy.
Unfortunately, we're in their prison. That's the
Yeah.
real problem.
Yeah.
Real,
I'm sorry, man, but I've been in a mental prison since the beginning, since I was born. Okay, being a black man, so
I like how you said that. Being a black man.
That's right. Even though I sound very like a white guy saying that.
we lose Mike. We lost Mike. I think.
Yeah, I think a billionaire like took Big Mike out from the. He'll be back.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe the Koch brothers. Maybe Soros. Who knows?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories abound.
Oh God, that's what the states has become. It's become a conspiracy theory nation.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
when you really think about it, the whole country has become. Everybody's got their own like conspiracy theory, and that's why. And nobody believes anything. Everybody has like their own YouTube channel, and like it's what it is.
You're saying having a YouTube channel makes you a conspiracy theorist, Bob?
How many people? Maybe not by default, but there's so many of them. It's like look, I know I'm really glad you're listening, but like let's let's talk about Roswell. Can we talk about Roswell? I mean, it's the whole thing. People will just and everybody has like and then there's conspiracies related to other conspiracies, the double conspiracy theory. I mean, there's people.
The latest one is Yeti and the UFO craft are working together.
I didn't even know this. I'm glad you
The
kept me up on this, Mike.
That is, whenever the spacecraft show up, the luminous spacecraft show up, like the flying saucers, the lights overhead, Yeti is always around there. Sasquatch, Bigfoot can be seen.
And isn't
think he
that
might be
like the
some
picture
sort of-
on the pyramids? On the pyramids, if you looked at the pictures on the pyramids, don't you see a Yeti /UFO?
Yes, exactly. Right.
Hey. Why do I feel like we're back at the Hungarian pastry shop, Mike, talking about this? This might as well be 1980 when I had hope.
By the way, I like how Big Mike called it Sasquatch. Like, you would expect that from Big Mike being from the Bronx with that weird, like, middle America, pronunciation. Sasquatch. I think we lost
Right.
Mo. Unfortunately, I think.
My
there
my
he is.
puppy woke up. My puppy woke up. You want to see him?
Yeah.
He woke up and he was crying.
You'll have to describe him to me. I can't see him.
Oh no, it's a Sasquatch. It's a Sasquatch.
Sasquatch, a four-legged Sasquatch.
He's adorable. He's black, white,
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
kind of like the royal baby.
What was
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about the Royals. We haven't talked about the Royals yet. That's
What's the dog's name?
Look at Archie. He looks as like pale and blue. Like what they call the term is blue blood. Somebody with skin so pale you can see the blue veins in his face. So with all that like discussion, how dark is he going to be? Well, apparently not very dark. In fact, a lot lighter than you are, Charles. And like it was supposed to be Charles who made that comment.
Why is anybody surprised by that comment?
Yeah,
That's what I want to know. Well, it's just like we're talking about, like, almost like the original racism. I mean, racism goes back millions of years, whatever.
I mean, they're so racist that they fuck each other just to make sure.
Yeah, right. Well, that was where the term blue blood came from. That is, Jonathan Swift writes about in Gulliver's Travels, and after 5 or 6 generations of the wastrel fathers consumed with syphilis and strong drink, that if the children are so frail they die in their youth, and if one of them comes out strong enough to survive their adolescence, everybody whispers it must have been the gamekeeper, kind of thing, or the stable boy, like. And somebody say
that about Harry.
Harry is Hewlett, Colonel Hewitt's son.
Yeah,
it's not Charles' son at all.
No, yeah.
By the way, I know it's a very, talk about, we lost Big Mike. I guess it's the Illuminati. The Illuminati got pissed off by Big Mike's
or one of the tabloids.
Yeah, exactly. What's the dog's name, by the way, Mo? What's the dog's name?
Mando, like Mandalorian.
Oh, wow. And it's
I didn't name him, but I like it because he's got the white down the face, so kind of like the helmet of the Mandalorian.
Yeah. How old is he?
9 weeks.
Oh, wow. I can see that dog love you a lot too,
Yeah, he's a baby. So
wow.
I know. I love dogs.
He's a handful, but he's very sweet.
When I'm up here and I see dogs like walking by, I always want to pet them, and they're always like so happy. Except I have now it's cold up here, and I have like the mask and a hood, and I found like some dogs really freak out. I look like an abominable snow man.
That's true. I mean, some dogs, like it depending, if they're rescues or whatever, and they got beat by a male. Like I used to volunteer at the ASPCA, and we had dogs come in and they'd tell us, well, you can't really show them to men. Or we had one dog who really reacted poorly to men with baseball hats on because he was abused by a guy that always wore a baseball hat.
Well, I'll show you what I look like, actually. Let me get my hood, and then some of the people can comment and see if I would freak them out. Hold on, it'll take me a second.
Right. Well,
I'm going to say yes.
Exactly. Wait, Bob's going outside. Bob's going to I'm going to put on my coat. Yeah, so give me.
I'm showing us his serial killer look.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm back.
Terrible.
Oh my God, is that how big Bob? Oh, now Bob Bell's the Bob Bell Yeti. Look at that, the Bob Bell Yeti. Bob Bell's putting on his mask for people who can't see.
I can't see.
Bob Bell's so basically, dogs are afraid of Bob Bell in Canada because he looks crazy with the mask and all his getup, and now he's putting on his getup. And yeah, Bob, you look like an East from the steppes. You look like a Hun from the steppes, basically, with the mask.
No, I had this I think it was almost like a Doberman pinscher, just jump on me. Like I was walking by, I was like, ugh!
Are you using those downstairs, underground? I thought that was great in Montreal because it is so cold there that they built a lot of those underground kind of walkways.
I haven't actually. It's funny. I haven't used them. In fact, what I do, I've just decided this coat's really good. It's 10 below some mornings. I mean, it's warmed up recently, but I'll go out with my coffee and I get this apple turnover at the
Is that centigrade or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's serious cold. I mean, minus, so it's minus 27 if you want to do it. So whatever,
I like, I like how Big Mike really cared about that. Is it centigrade or Fahrenheit? Yeah.
But what's a clarification? Is it cold or is it cold? That's what he wants to know.
Yes.
By the way,
So-
Tamara just commented, Bob could commit a crime in that outfit. Yeah.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
outfit is a crime.
That's more accurate.
You want to know if it was colder than a witch's tit or merely cold as a very ugly girl's tit?
I always feel warm in there. I mean, it's like I said, 10 below. I drink my coffee. I go in when the coffee freezes. When the coffee freezes, it takes about half an hour, and then I go home.
Then you have a coffee slushy.
No, it's frozen.
A
It's
frappe.
Wow.
not a frappe.
Coffee pops.
No, it's ice. It's like pure
You're like,
ice.
"Well, time to go in."
Time to go in, and I just waved, and the dogs walked by. I've actually been warmer here than I ever was in New York because this coat's so good.
Oh,
New York,
nice.
I would freeze all
People
the time.
don't. So I live in Colorado, and people in New York were always like, "Oh, you're used to the cold because you're from Colorado." I was like, first of all, we don't schlep around in it in Colorado. We get in our cars. Secondly, it really does, like, the level of humidity really makes a huge difference. Also, we have very sunny weather. So even when it's cold, just the fact that the sun is out, I was like, New York was much colder. New York is actually further north than Denver is. But I guess people just assume like, oh, the mountains. I'm like, yeah, but I'm from Denver.
Yeah. It's
Well,
interesting.
everybody saw The Shining. You freeze to death in your snowcat.
I mean,
right.
it's
that
a thing.
maze. That scene of like, where he's like,
But it really isn't. I mean, I've been to Chicago in January. I went to Montreal in April and it was freezing. So New York is cold. Boston. I've definitely been to way colder places than Colorado.
Yeah,
So-
Montreal, it's about 15 degrees colder than New York. It gets like, if it's 10 and, it's 5 degrees in New York, it's probably minus 10 in Montreal. It's 10, 15.
Well, they
10
say there are parts of Canada where, like, if you go to throw a bucket of water out, it freezes midair. Which,
well, you go to the territories like in Northwest Territory or Yukon. I mean, that's really. I mean, I've never been there, but that's really, really cold.
So, speaking of a cold, though, and this will be a great way to like end the show as we pivot. Like, so it looks like things are opening up now. You know what I'm saying? Like in April, comedy clubs are going to open up, and I think some bar venues are going to start having performances and stuff. Like, what are you predicting for the next spring and like summer of like in 2021? Do you think it'll be more open up? You think it's going to be like the Roaring '20s? Like people are going to go crazy and ape shit like to party, or you think people are going to be like, you know what? I'll wait it out. I'll stay inside, and then like what's the predictions? And we'll start with Mo. Let's start with Mo before we so give everybody a space to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I absolutely think it is going to be the Roaring '20s because I think a lot of people are going to get vaccinated. They're already getting vaccinated, and honestly, like think about it. I experienced this more in New York, but like you get that spring fever. And I think people are just going to want to be outside. They're going to want to be around people. Here's the thing, people either have gotten COVID and have the antibodies or they've gotten vaccinated. So I think whether it's true or not, there's going to be this sense of safety. And it's just going to be nuts. I really do think so. I don't know here's the thing about clubs and things like that. I don't think those are going to go back to how it was, but I think that's more to do with how litigious our society is. And they're afraid that they're going to get sued. But if they didn't have that fear, they would be packing it out.
Well, it's only going to be 35% capacity for now in like the New York area. And we got Say That Shit in My Face saying, yo, what's up, Say That Shit in My Face? You remember Say That Shit? He's
I
a
love
cool
these scandals.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Big
You're
Mike?
gonna say it to your fucking face. How do you like that?
Is he kind of like a short, squat, bald guy?
No, he's tall. I've
My
met him.
face,
He's
huh?
tall.
Have you met him?
Yeah,
I've seen pictures of him on online. But
He's
anyway,
not a
my belief, I do believe there's going to be an initial kind of like schools out for some. Everybody's going to rush out, and then there's going to be like I don't know. It must be about a fourth or a fifth wave now. That is, I think a lot of people who thought they were immune from a second case of COVID, or even stranger, that this was going to give them the immunity. The vaccine may not be as effective as they say. There's going to be another wave, and they're going to shut. They say basically things are not going to open up until November. Basically, unfortunately, things are just that is think of all the concerts that were canceled. Like the last one that wasn't canceled, it was a Motley Crue concert set for October of 2020, and they finally had to cancel it. And Elton John canceled, like, what is it, this fifth or his sixth farewell reunion tour, and he canceled that until November of 2021. And Billy Joel's residency at Madison Square Garden was canceled all this year, and he's tentatively talking about bringing it back in November. But I think it's going to be November more than likely. It's like around somewhere between like Thanksgiving and New Year's. They're going to reopen things. I shouldn't say get back to normal, but I don't think things will be totally open until November or December. I mean, people are going to go nuts as soon as they open, like even 50%. There's going to be this kind of like like hooligans, soccer hooligans at a FIFA match. But then there's going to be that terrible thing where people get crushed to death, not crushed by people impaling them into fences, but they're going to get crushed by, unfortunately, it looks like probably another wave of the COVID-19.
By the way, I just want to read the comments. Tamara says, I've enjoyed not having a cold or flu in a year, so I'm going to lay low. And I just want to bring up, he's actually say that to my face via Twitch. So he's cleaning himself up for, the other platforms. Say that's actually really tall. He actually showed up in our last live UGG comedy show event when we did an outdoor show for like the 12th year anniversary. Like,
he's got a shaved head though, right?
Yeah, but he's tall. He's like, I think he's like what? Yeah, let's see how tall you are.
How are you? Are you Tinder tall or are you really tall?
Tinder tall. Wait. Is that a term?
It is now.
Mo, aren't you? Are you taking? Do you have a pandemic buddy, like a pandemic? What do you call that? A COVID? Not a pen. What?
I've been off and on with somebody for a while, and then it's kind of what we were talking about. This pandemic either brought people together or made them get divorced. So we kind of decided we're more together now. But we'll see. But you know what? Here's the funny thing, and this is me being such a cynic, and it's not about him, but I'm almost like, oh, well, okay. But then when things open up, is he going to be like, oh, I don't need this bitch no more?
Well, I have a question though. I feel like having the pandemic sex is probably like, there's something really fun about that probably, because it's like, it's kind of illicit, like you're not supposed to. Like, was it a different thing? Like, was it like
no? Because I think it's because I was out here in Colorado. Like, it wasn't as crazy, scary as New York was. It really wasn't. I mean, maybe for some people, but I think, and also we both took it seriously, so we weren't like running around. I think that was my big thing, is I wanted to hang out with people who took it seriously. And that doesn't mean that like they couldn't still get it and they couldn't still give it to me. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, I want to balance out my life, not living in fear, maybe getting a little something. Right. But I don't want to like, I have friends who went on dating apps. I'm like, see, that shit I won't do. Like, that's not when you go get strange, That's when you go back to like dick, and you're just like, yeah, this is my Goodwill dick. I know where this is. I'm gonna buy this back.
Yeah, you recycled a dick. It's like dick you're used to, dick you're comfortable with. Yeah, dick.
Retro dick.
Yes, everything old is new again.
Nostalgia dick, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god! But by the way, Tamara commented saying she commented a heart. And then she also commented ST2MF and then a heart. What does that mean, ST2MF? I'm not.
Say that to my face.
She hasn't had a cold. Oh! You know what, Tamara?
Say that to my face.
Yes, you correct. Yeah, Big Mike went to Columbia University, so he's like the Ivy leaguer. So he cracked the code right there. Quick
Yeah.
enough.
I just want to say this to Tamara because she brings up a good point. In 2019, I was going to New York City every single month, and I was sick every single month. And, you know, these people on airplanes were like, I don't want to wear a mask. We are disgusting motherfuckers. They're finally cleaning the planes, which they weren't doing in 2019. People are gross. I was sick every month, and I agree. It has been really nice to not be sick. And I have flown, but the planes are clean. I've only flown airlines where they won't sell the middle seat. So, you know, I've enjoyed it.
I have chronic bronchitis myself, and I was usually like the February, March bronchitis, the May, June bronchitis, the October bronchitis, and the December bronchitis. But I had the last time I was sick was like February.
Bronchitis, Mike.
Huh?
Which was your favorite?
None of them. But like I said, last February, it was like February 2nd or so until the 14th. Like, you know, like Valentine's Day, I had a bad case of bronchitis. Again, I was used to it. Like, it's the February, March bronchitis, but I haven't been sick since February. It's been 13 months without an outbreak of the bronchitis. So, you know, I'm not like I used to go out to the Pyramid Club dancing like every weekend, sometimes twice or 3 times. And I used to go out to, like I said, the open mics on the Lower East Side 2 times a week. I'm just not running into anybody anymore. Just is like, you know, Zoom and like the West Side Market and Dwayne Reed of the post office.
Is there anything, Mike? Is there anything going on like Viviana?
Nothing. Well, really, there's really when I like. It's one of those things that when they first opened up the restaurants briefly back in July was the first thing I went to a restaurant. It's like, what am I doing here? And like St. Mark's Place became very hip place, like people hanging out in the street and not socially distancing. But all you go there, people are like, hey, you want to do drugs? You want to do drugs? Not that I'm against drugs. It just don't do them anymore. It was like, I don't want to be with these people. Like I'm hanging out with hipsters that I wouldn't hang out with if there was no lockdown, if there was no COVID-19. I wouldn't hang out with them anyway, you know?
By the way, Cameron commented earlier, it was nice to see Big Mike's belly and then a laugh emoji and then a hat emoji, I think. So, yeah.
So, well, like I said, it's good to see my belly. Like when this all started back in March, I was convinced that this was it for me. Like I wasn't sick, but I was like, you know, I've beaten death so many times, and I can't continually play this game of Russian roulette with destiny. I really thought it was my number was up. I was not going to get through this.
Yes, you can, Mike. You're a cowboy, Mike. You can. Yes, you can.
I'm surprised, more surprised than like disappointed. Perhaps a little disappointed, but I'm more surprised than anything else. You know, like it wound up getting like sentenced to a life. You know, like I got sentenced. What's my sentence? My sentence is life, a life sentence.
You're stuck with us.
Sentenced to life.
Terrible. My condolences.
It's your own personal outer limits episode.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There we go.
Bob, what about you, Bob? What do you think? What's your prediction for summer?
No, I think it's all going to be fine. I think people are going to get vaccinated, and then we'll have like that chip that Bill Gates put in the vaccine. We'll be great.
Right. We're going to catch what he added to the vaccine, the little microchip.
Right. You're going to have like the
Microsoft 5G, the 5G microchip.
Yeah, that's
the 5G enabled microchip.
That's how we will upload your consciousness to a new body, Big Mike. So we'll see if is the why problem, the why dilemma after consciousness. The why dilemma.
Big Mike is Huawei.
Have you ever saw the movie AI?
I did.
That when Haley, right? Yeah. Joel Haley. The point is, he winds up in Coney Island. It's supposed to be Coney Island, frozen for like 2,000 years, and by the time they unfreeze him, mankind has been replaced by these avatars, and they're like shocked. Oh my God, this is one of those things that actually knew humans. Like human evolution continued, and now everybody's this kind of like a pixelated avatar. There's no humanity left. They're not robots. Everybody's an avatar. They're like stunned that we know he's an android. We know he's a robot, but he must have known the real humans. That kind of thing. Like
he deserves that.
I used
We're
to
getting
watch
frozen
those
by 2,000 years in Coney
Don't you
Island.
watch, like, you watch those movies and you're like, that's so out there. And now I'm starting to watch, like, I should take notes.
Oh yeah.
Like, I should pay attention. Oh, Tamara got her.
You ever see RoboCop? Go back to the original RoboCop.
Oh yeah,
There's a
great movie.
cyborg human being that's bulletproof and can shoot villains 150 rounds a minute, and is computer enhanced. But not one of these people have a cell phone. Not one of them. They're using payphones to communicate in RoboCop world. They got everything like this super futuristic cop robots, but not one of them has even a flip phone. Not even an old-fashioned flip phone.
We got RoboBob.
Drop it, or there's gonna be trouble.
Yes, there will be trouble. Yes,
there will be trouble. I'd drop it if I were you.
Come quietly.
And then he blows then the RoboCop blows the guy away in the boardroom. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, wait, we're trying to do. And then the head guy looks towards the other guy and goes, "I'm very disappointed, Dick."
I've had disappointment.
Exactly.
I get it.
Right. All right. I'm actually surprised that Bob's so optimistic. That's like refreshing in your own sarcasm.
But none of them had Bluetooth either. Not one of those villains had Bluetooth.
Well, it's hard to be villainous having Bluetooth, Big Mike. It's hard to like pull off the villainy with the, hey, so can you hear me now?
I'd buy that for $1.
$1. It's 2 whores for $1. That's the key. It's 2 whores for $1. I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1. Oh God!
2 whores for $1.
By the way, Tamara says she got her first dose of Pfizer. Good for you. Good for you. You know, you're part of the there you go. Good for you.
Supposedly, my caseworker, my social worker, is going to have it delivered to me. Somebody's going to show up my door and give it to me.
Oh, you mean to
actually Moderna?
What a door? You know?
It's like when you dial a hooker or you dial a stripper. I'm going to get somebody going to show up in a corset and panties and give me a Moderna shot.
Yeah,
I'm only going to take it if they shoot it in my eyeball. That would be
good Lord.
Yeah, right. Okay, there's the first shot. Here's the second shot.
Yeah. Bob, would you ever Bob, would you ever do the anal swab that they're doing in China, the anal swab for the COVID test? Would you ever do that?
I think that happened to me 25 years ago, actually. I had I was in really bad shape. I started throwing up, and I think they did something like that.
No, they did an anal swab on you?
Yeah, it was an anal suppository. That's what it was.
Okay.
That was
they said it was. But that's what they told you, and you believed them.
I was really sick, Mike. I was really sick.
Nothing like to open a repressed can of memories for really.
Yeah, that's it. We always come back to those fraternity days.
Exactly.
Stand still. You're gonna get this. Here comes the suppository.
I didn't even feel it. It was just like, oh my! I just I was so sick then, and then I was okay in the morning, and I walked out. I was on the. Where is it? 14th, 16th Street. Where the
and the doctor gave you a bouquet of roses afterwards.
That was a suppository.
The little card. Last night was magical.
He just said, "Say you want to pee." I can remember him asking me. It's like, "You gonna go pee? Go pee." I still remember saying that. Go pee. I was like, "Yeah."
By the way, Tamara commented, "Watch Big Mike gonna get a big gay male nurse." Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Viva la difference. You don't appreciate you've had oysters, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm sure
Big get anything.
Yeah. I'm sure. Big Mike, have you ever experimented with or you've always just been heterosexual, Big Mike?
When they ask me those things, like the medical dossier, I always say bisexual just to see what but in reality, like I said, the only time I've ever held a man's penis is to put a catheter inside it.
Oh boy!
I've done lots of times. I've had I've had a man's penis in my hand a lot, but a rubber tube gets stuck in there through the pee hole.
God, man.
Just to make
Just
sure
that idea of just like, no, that sounds so painful. Not for you, Mike, but for whoever.
Hell, it's not my dick.
Sure.
Just imagine Big Mike is like holding your penis to put a tube in it. You know?
Oh boy.
This isn't gonna hurt me a bit.
right. I guess it's another Thursday.
You know what? I just realized that might be proof that we
dinner first.
Yeah. I think that's proof that we live in a dystopia when Big Mike is holding penises and putting tubes up in them for medical purposes.
Only. Medical purposes only.
Medical purposes only.
Yes, I'm being dispassionate about this now.
All right. And on that note,
we're just getting started here. We can't go into extended time.
We're ending it on the end.
Yeah.
I think we've had our extended time, Bob. I think with that, with the Hey, so let's do plugs. Mo, where can we find you, Mo? I know you have a weekly HAPS show, right?
Yep. I'm here on HAPS Mondays with Mo, and that is at 9 p.m. Mountain. So what is that? 11 Eastern and 8 Pacific. Yeah. And then just across the social media platforms at Mocha Vida, MOKAVIDA. That's where I post my shows, my projects, my puppy pictures, sometimes my feet if you're lucky.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, Mo, would you ever do OnlyFans, Mo? I know, like, a lot of you.
I've been talking. It's so funny. I've actually been talking about doing a foot thing because I didn't realize that that's big business.
Oh, yeah.
My feet aren't that great, by the way. I'm not bragging about my feet, but I was, to each their own. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see if I choose to experiment.
Don't forget
Big Mike. How about Big Mike's feet?
What?
How about Big Mike's feet?
Yeah.
They're kind of veiny. They're kind of veiny.
Oh boy.
Hey,
and there's no arch to it. I have 6 toes and they're webbed.
Oh. Wait, overall,
sounds like a fetish.
Or as we like to say, an acquired taste.
Right.
Yes.
Wait, like you actually have 6 toes overall, or 6 toes in one?
No, I don't have 6. I've only got 5. I wish I had 6. I wish I did have 6. Marilyn Monroe supposedly had 6 toes.
Who?
Really? Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah.
Oh my God, those feet pics of Marilyn Monroe with the 6 toes. That's like the
next time you look at. She has some pictures of her running on a beach, and you count them, and you realize she has 6.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna Google that right now.
You gotta say, yeah. What? That's a bomb that you just dropped right before we're done.
Should I try to
nightmares?
Yeah, should I try to find that in the Marilyn Monroe 6 toes?
All you have to do is you look at some of her photographs on the beach when she's running on the beach.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Nobody.
There it is. There it is.
You see it?
Yeah, it's images of Marilyn Monroe's 6 feet.
All right, no, I bet you think I was a liar. Now you're calling me a liar, huh?
Let's see. Wait. They're gonna blow this up. I can't read.
Not a liar, just a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Bob,
I think you're right. Yeah, I think I see it, but it's not like very big. I can't.
No, right. It was a little tiny, like extra pinky toe.
Wait, let me see. I mean, this is like one of the pictures on the internet. So let's see if we could.
There's a lot of pictures of her, like with.
Yeah. Bring it in.
You see it?
Wow.
She also had a bifurcated clitoris.
Oh my! What?
No, I'm kidding.
All right, let's see. Marilyn Monroe bifurcated clitoris. Well, let's see.
Is it like
no, I'm not doing it. No.
All right, so yeah, I think we have.
Find the clit. Don't worry about it. There's no pictures.
Oh God, this is we're gonna cancel ourselves. So Snopes says, did Marilyn Monroe have 6 toes? According to Snopes, the extra something that Marilyn possessed doesn't appear to have been a toe. So there was a something.
Wait, was it a bunion?
I don't know.
That's the other clitoris.
Oh my god! Oh
Yeah.
my god!
That's left
What was
Maryland.
this? You know, I saw this movie up here. It's actually based in Montreal with what's her name? Who was the porn star who kind of went more mainstream?
Which one?
Tracy
Jessica-
Lord.
Jessica.
Sasha Grey?
No, I can't remember. And it was like
Jenna Jameson?
no,
Jenna Jameson.
no. It's in the 70s. Anyway, it was like
who am I thinking of? Annie Sprinkles.
I can't believe we're playing Guest a Porn Star with Bob Bell. I never thought I'd play that with Bob Bell.
It's, I can't remember. But anyway,
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren, right.
No, she used to do porn.
Did she really? Like real porn?
She was in the Caligula movie, the Penthouse magazine Caligula.
I saw that movie.
That's Helen Mirren.
That's not porn.
Yeah, it was penetration.
I mean,
There you go. Oh, she did that one, The Cook, the Something, The Thief, and the Wife. That's also an X-rated movie.
I mean, she's, you know.
It's okay.
She was covered in excrement in that movie.
Wow, I didn't know she was German.
Yeah, they shite. They can't get enough of that scheisen. The Germans, they can't get enough of that. But something, the thief, the butcher, the thief, the cook, and his wife. I think it's called something like that.
Good grief.
What's starring Helen Mirren?
Who did The Devil and Miss Jones? Who's that?
That was what's her name?
Marilyn Chambers.
Marilyn Chambers.
Right, and she did this movie, and she's based in Montreal.
That was like, behind the green door. She died. She's not,
she died. Right, and she basically has this. She gets into a car accident, and then she grows this like thing here, which is like some sort of appendage which attacks men.
Oh yeah, I think it's called like it has something like rabies or something like that. Or
right, rabbit,
right.
Right, and of course, this is what I do now because I have like nothing else to do. I go on Roku and watch that or any other 1950s like sci-fi movie or whatever. And she came up, and she's she's yeah.
We should do that, Todd. We should, instead of a book club, we should just like pick a weird 70s
porn
movie. And
I think the guy David Abtel had something like that on television for a while.
Right.
It was like porn of the 70s. Is David Abtel? I'm thinking of the guy.
David Attell. Yeah, the comedian David Attell. Right.
Yeah.
They did.
He had like a porn of the 70s. He would have all these.
It was like one of those late night Showtime shows. Like one.
Right.
Yeah,
a lot of slap bass and fur.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And on that note, Bob, anything you want to plug, Bob?
Nothing now, because I like I said, I thought there was maybe a possibility of me doing something somewhere, but it looks like it's going to be back to Rabid or Marilyn Chambers. That's like that doesn't seem like nothing's coming.
I thought there was a possibility of doing something somewhere.
Yeah. So, tell them to stay tuned. Maybe next week things will, my shows might brighten up, and maybe I'll be being seen on the Zoom somewhere in New Zealand or something like that.
Exactly. Hey, Bob, remember, this is a funny story. So Bob was supposed to do the Adelaide Festival, like in Australia, and then like he never did it. And then I got an email randomly, and they're like, "Hey, do you know where Bob Bell is?" You're like I was your emergency contact, Bob, for Australia. Who's going?
There were like all these like Australians probably at the door where I was supposed to do the show. And they're like, hey, "Where is he? Where is he? Let us in. Where is he? I want to see the show. Where is he?" I mean, like they had to give him the money back, and it was
Bob was banned from the Adelaide district in Australia. That's that. Long story short, Bob is banned from there. He's banned from.
I actually apologized to that person 2 years ago. It was like 3 years after the event or whatever, and she was like, "Oh, it's okay," but she might. I told her she could stay in my apartment. So
she visited you or something?
She didn't in the end, but I said, "Look, if you ever come to New York," I felt so bad. She's a really nice person to set it up.
All right.
So but nobody's visiting anybody now, are they?
No, not really.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, things are opening up supposedly. I mean, with the whole that's been going on, and
Can we? I mean, can you go to in New York? Can you go to restaurants now, or is it all shut down?
Not really. They're just they were shut down after about Thanksgiving. They're starting to reopen now, but they've basically been shut down since about Thanksgiving. They opened up between July, I think, actually June 30th, and about
outdoor stuff.
No, there's indoor. No, there's
even the outdoor stuff stopped after about Thanksgiving.
Right, it's too cold.
Christmas too cold.
But they're coming
for the
back.
most part.
People are setting them
They're
up.
still going to start reopen, I think, on the 15th or the 30th.
Also, there are indoor. There are you could do a restaurant indoors. It's just 30% or 35%. So it is and there are indoor restaurant stuff going on in New York.
Virtually nothing though. You'd be surprised how many places have closed down.
Oh yeah, well, it's still a ghost.
Guess what? Marjorie Taylor Greene called some Italian Jewish lawmaker Representative Mussolini.
No, but there really is a Mussolini. Mussolini's granddaughter is the head of the fascist party.
That's
they have
true.
one
That's
third
right.
of
Mike
the
is
Italian
spot on with
parliament.
that. Yeah. But I don't think this guy is related directly. So Representative Mussolini.
What about you, Big Mike? Anything you want to plug or anything?
Well, I was anthologized for this first time in maybe I'll say 10 years. There's this it's called Rhymes of the Ancient Mariner, the Silver-Tongued Devil. It's an anthology. The other one is After the Cloud Sun. It's New Year's Day alternate poetry anthology.
Mike a hand for that.
Yeah.
So I've been anthologized twice.
Good work.
There you go.
January and February, and I haven't submitted anything in 10 years. And also, I'm gonna remember Viviana Grell, Viviana's Stark. It's there's gonna be a March 20th one.
I saw that. I got the email.
Yeah, 353 Studio 353 on 48th Street.
What's going on? What's going on?
So I'm gonna go that one, huh?
What's going on? What is that?
It's a live open mic with real people in a real. It's a rehearsal studio, if you ever saw the movie All That Jazz with Bob Fosse. It's one of those places in Broadway where they have where they dance. The dance rehearsals are done it's a big empty room with mirrors on the wall. John Travolta uses it in Saturday Night Fever to practice his disco moves. It's a rehearsal studio for dance.
It's where people do ballet, that type of
thing. Yeah, right, exactly, or modern dance or tap. But the point is, because there's no chairs and you can socially distance inside it. It skirted all the regulations. It's not a theater. It's not a nightclub. So she's had one basically every month, almost since I guess July of last year.
Great.
See, that's the other funny thing too. Because there's been some things in the comedy, there's a comedy club that's there's a comedian that got COVID, but then he still did spots and didn't tell people, and because he had I think his COVID rapid test was negative, and then the other test came out positive, and and this whole big stink, oh, you know what, he should have told people or whatever, and then this comedy club banned him. But the funny thing is, it's this comedy club too was running shows during the height of the pandemic. So it's I mean, it's come on, no one's really taking it seriously, from the get-go. Obviously this thing hasn't wiped out, humanity. And obviously it is serious, but
they've had open mics in Bryant Square.
Oh, Big Mike.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's outdoors.
Yeah.
Well, down I mean, it was down south. I think they've had full on.
Oh
shows.
yeah, they know.
Yeah. So go ahead, Mo.
Thin the herd.
Right. Right.
That's their motto.
Yeah. Not enough of the herd is thinning. I mean, there's still a lot of dumb people out there. It's like I almost feel like it's the opposite, where it's as there's this whole saying Providence looks out for the drunkards, children, and idiots and Americans. I think it was from Otto von Bismarck or something like that. And it seems like that. It seems like Providence,
the wrong herd. The wrong
Well-
herd is getting
well,
thin.
I mean, the sad part is you need the herd to keep on making more stock. So
This
of
is
course,
true.
of course they're going to be kind of protected. That's why like the big idiots, you see them and they're like, oh, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm great. Well, that's because, the virus is like, you know what? Let's him keep on doing what he's doing, but I'll just, piggyback off him and then, kill off, the next.
That's actually true about viruses, though, is that as they morph, they do become more contagious but less deadly because they realize they need to keep their hosts alive.
Symbiotic, yeah. So I think COVID's, the funny thing is, I feel like because it sounds like Trump was like president, and now I feel like COVID is president. I feel like COVID ran for like
COVID is the real winner, so to speak.
yeah. I
A
feel
silent but deadly president, kind of like Joe Biden, silent but
Right.
deadly.
and Joe Biden's still the vice president still because he's still vice president to COVID. So
Kind of like George Bush.
yeah. So President COVID, there you go. Congratulations on very successful presidency so far, President COVID. But
So is it going to be Joel Osteen in 2024, Mike, or what are we?
Probably.
he disappeared though. Yeah, I think. But do you think that's the thing that is going to beat President COVID, Joel Osteen, Bob?
I don't think so. I think Mike's like betting on it. I think really, people think it's just all about Trump or whatever. I just think there's such craziness, especially in the Republican Party, that like a Tom Cotton or one of those guys could easily kind of come out and win and then be basically an efficient Trump,
Right.
do all the things, that Trump didn't really care about doing, but a lot of people don't agree with it. They think that Trump had all the personality. That's all it means. I don't go with that line.
Yeah, and Bob, who doesn't have more personality than COVID? I mean, come on, right?
You got a point there. I know that's President COVID. That's a tough one to beat.
Right. All right. We're going to wrap our show. I'm waiting for Big Mike to show up, but I think he's like, you know what? Well, you'll see Big Mike next time. I think Big Mike, we've heard enough.
Forehead. Just as
There he is. He's
speak of
coming.
the devil.
Yeah.
There he is.
All right. Now we're going to wrap up, man. So, that's our show. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Check out our content, Todd MONTESI. You can check out my PN and friends. We're going to be doing some very interesting content. And you know what? It's going to involve some NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I can't wait to talk about that. And explain
Mine's
that.
all fungible. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's our
Do
show.
these coins, like Bitcoin, do we get money or something for these coins?
Well, you mean these HAPS coins? I don't think we actually use. Well, we need people to give us HAPS coins, so we need to get more. We need to get more viewers.
If you go on every day, just even if you click on the app, you get coins.
Yeah, but then
What do you get for that? I still don't like. I mean, can you trade it in for valuable prizes or?
For the coins, I don't think what you can do is give the coins, but then you can get people who are subscribing to your show.
Yeah, but
People who can tip you.
It's an Indian giver. It's being an Indian giver. First, I get it, and I give it away.
No, I'm saying it's different currencies.
Yeah. Should I pay Big Mike in HAPS coins? Well, here's the thing. What if I pay Big Mike all my HAPS coins, and then these HAPS coins become an actual, a profitable thing? Then Big Mike.
Yeah, right. Like a currency, like the euro.
Yeah. Then Big Mike becomes the rich guy of our show, Bob. How do you feel,
Yes,
Bob?
exactly,
Would you be comfortable with?
I think Big Mike's already the rich guy of our show.
So like what Zuckerberg did to the other guy, it took all his and the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, stole all the stock of the company.
Big Mike, king of HAPS coin. By the way, Mo. Actually, last question.
My puppy is going crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, honestly, Mo, come on. Who wouldn't go crazy with you, right? Hey, but Mo,
That was the reason.
so Mo, so you've gotten paid in HAPS coins? Have you transferred those HAPS coins to actual?
He's running away with the battery pack for the computer. I have to figure it out. I've gotten tipped, which is different. That's not coins.
Okay.
I think that's actually, but it's like 50 cents or whatever. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, to be honest with you. I've only been doing this a few weeks, so.
Hey, I'll tell you this.
No.
I'll tell you this. If you viewers were actually tipping me, maybe I'd do it more than once a week. Yeah.
Hey. You'll get there.
Imagine that splitting like a quarter between Big Mike and Bob Bell. Like
There you
how sad and dystopian would that be, right? Like
you can get people who will sponsor and
Right.
you know, stuff like that. So
right,
hang
yeah.
in there. But yeah, thanks for having me. I hope you guys like the app, and
Yeah,
know,
thank you, Mo. Thank you.
I'll have you on my show.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
you
love to.
definitely get those these two. Yeah. All right, guys, we're gonna end the show. It's been an hour and a half, and it was a fun time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for engaging, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks a lot,
Guys,
Todd.
be
Yeah, thanks,
well.
Todd.